All right, this is SFBarkast. I'm Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Louder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are in the Castro, and
more specifically,
we're at a bar called HiTops.
HiTops, right?
H-I, no G-H, tops.
Okay, so this is what I want to say right off the bat. Like, you know how we've been going to some bars, and we always say, like, oh, this bar hasn't changed, and it's been the same for, 20 years, and it's never changed. This bar is actually 4 months old.
Yeah,
so we have an infant bar this
looks
time.
brand new even.
Yeah,
so
it does.
It's not as new as the Gold Dust was, but it is brand new.
That's true, but of course, the Gold Dust was established in 1933,
well, true, yeah.
And they just moved their location, and it looked exactly the same. Not to step on what you said.
I'll just go hang out in the car.
Exactly. If you don't have anything intelligent to say, just shut up, okay?
No, fuck. That's all I had.
Right out of the gate. But yeah, this is. What is it about this bar that's amazing?
It is, they pride themselves on it, and I have to believe what they say because I've never seen one before. But they say it's the first gay sports bar in San Francisco.
Right. It is for people who don't know, the Castro is the gay section of San Francisco, and this is a sports bar in the middle of the Castro. And I have never seen a gay sports bar, but it's an amazing idea. Like, now, after walking in, looking around the place, I'm just like, how come someone hasn't done this before?
Exactly. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think because you don't associate gay men with sports, but this is it's not a gimmick here. It's like they have four huge television screens going with sports in the middle of the bar,
right? And
then there's other televisions all over the bar where you can watch basketball games or anything that's on.
Regardless of where we are and and what the bar represents or whatever, it's a quality sports bar. I mean,
absolutely.
First and foremost, it's there's sports on every TV, as many different games as they can find, there's nowhere you can sit where you're not looking at least 2 or 3 TVs.
Right, and it's all they have virtually every ESPN on ESPN 1, 2, 3 all the way up to wherever. Although I really wanted to say to one of these guys, I don't know how you can stay gay if you're looking at Tony Kornheiser all day long. You're like, oh my God!
Whenever him or any of the other ESPN announcers are on. I think of what a small percentage that is of athletics, and the rest is fit, sweaty guys.
Yeah, it's true.
Usually grabbing at each other in some form or another.
Well, I think because there's so many different types of gay men, there are there's guys who are very effeminate, there are guys who are very buff, and then guys who cross-dress and all that. Maybe you don't associate sports with a gay lifestyle, but it kind of makes sense because when you think about it, if you're walking through the Castro and you see a bunch of buff guys working out in the gyms, basically a lot of those guys were jocks in high school who couldn't come out of the closet.
Right.
So now they're probably I played football in high school and I was gay the whole time. So.
I think it definitely symbolizes sort of. It comes right at the time when it seems like more people are feeling comfortable coming out in sports. There's still some big hurdles to go.
Not in America. There was just a piece on Brian Gumbel's show on HBO about a rugby player who recently came out, and he came out the year before he retired. But still, that was a huge. I think that they were saying that there's no American team sports athlete that has come out of the closet. They all wait till after. John Amici, who played for the Dallas Mavericks, he came out afterwards, and they were interviewing him in that piece, and he was like, "Yeah, it's still it's not safe to do it."
Right.
We had a guy who plays for the San Francisco 49ers talking shit about. First off. It's ignorant what he said in the first place. He said, if you're gay and an athlete, you got to stay in the closet.
Right.
But it's ignorant already on that that level. But then you figure, okay, he plays for the San Francisco 49ers.
Right.
It's just this is not the first time this happened with the Niners. I understand that, football is a testosterone-based, macho thing. But, what was his name? Garrison Hurst? He also did the same thing. He was a running back
Tim
for the
Hardaway,
Niners.
too, like-
Tim Hardaway did the exact same thing. Tim Hardaway backpedaled on that really fast.
But still, like,
Yeah, you playing for you played for the Warriors for years.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like, I was going to say about the rugby player, though. I mean, like, I would think that most rugby players come out the day that they start playing rugby, because that is a sport that just involves a whole lot of crotch grabbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you get one of those scrums, and you never know. Like, people don't talk about what goes on in the middle of those scrums. It's like
They're probably scarred from it, like Vietnam or something like that. It's like, you don't even know, you couldn't even see, but like, I was neck deep in this guy.
And I accept that nomination as a very, like, gay-looking sport,
Right.
but, like, I have to say that, like, Ultimate Fighting is gotta be...
Oh, God,
it just seems like, I mean, some of those guys and some of those holds that they do, they're like one finger slip away from gay porn,
Well, yeah, it's basically like, I mean, the amount of time that those guys are actually 69ing during an average, like, fight,
Right.
quote unquote. Like, it's just weird.
I know that I'm like, and I know people who are totally into Ultimate Fighting, they won't miss a fight or anything, and I'm just like, I'm like, I can't get into it. Well, first off, it's kind of brutal,
Right.
and then it just seems very gay.
You're like, oh, you don't miss a fight, huh? Would you say that you're anal about not missing a fight?
I love some of the things that they do here, like just first off, the bar itself is great.
Right.
I went to the men's room and they have like these huge like posters of like guys in locker rooms,
Sweet.
like pretty boy, like
Right.
athletes in locker rooms, which is great. And they have this thing that goes on every Thursday from 10 to 2 a.m. called gym class.
Right. GYM, not JIM, right?
And it's basically their bartenders like serve drinks wearing only a jockstrap.
Sweet. I mean, yeah.
So I'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, I was gonna say they finally caught up to every other bar in the city.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people who like complain about Hooters or like any bar where they like objectify women's bodies, stuff like. Well, you know what? They do it here as well, but with the guys.
Well, and I love like the slogan that I've seen, in advertisements for this place and like online and stuff. It's fantastic. Like their slogan is in very big sports letters, Rebecca. It says "Cold pitchers and hot catchers."
You would think they would have some promotion because like pitchers and catchers just reported to spring training for baseball.
Like, reported here in like 1968, honey.
Oh, okay. So they also have like a shuffleboard table here.
Yeah, and actually, like
feel like
it looks like a pretty good size, like food options as well and back, and like it's a combination bar and like foodorium.
Foodorium.
It's not a restaurant. They're probably not. I mean,
Don't make up
they might
words, Andrew.
Bring it to you, but you have to order it in back. So
Yeah, I'm gonna sample their menu in a little bit, but like they have a full size shuffleboard table.
Yeah.
I feel like shuffleboard's like making a comeback, I don't know if it was ever here, but like a lot of like hip bars like
Right.
that have shuffleboard, and people like line
people
up
that
to do it.
want to go on like a cruise ship, but they don't want to stand ankle deep in human shit.
You're kind of obsessed with that story, aren't you?
I love how much attention the news paid to it. It was fantastic. There was like all kinds of other stuff going on in the world. And they're like, broadcasting like, as if these people like, lived through the Holocaust. And it's like, you had 3 days where you had to like shit in a bag and throw it overboard. Like, don't make it to be like, like you were the greatest sufferer since Job.
I like the way that the media like portrayed it, like, oh, this horrible thing that happened to these people, and half the people who are watching the news report are going, yeah, that's what you get for going on a cruise. It's like an element of Schadenfreude, or it's just like, yeah, that's what you get.
Fantastic.
You know what? I think I need to get a beer.
Oh my God.
So early.
Like, it's a good sign. It's
It is a good
sign.
sign.
They're doing their job. They're pouring a delicious beer that you can't resist.
And we'll be right back. This is SFBarkast, and we are at HiTops
Hi, Tom.
in the Castro. And we're back. This This is SFBarkast.
Hey.
And I'm Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Louder.
And we are at where?
We are at HiTops.
HiTops.
Right in the heart of the Castro. What is
In
it,
the
Market
Castro.
and Sanchez?
It's market between Noe and Sanchez.
Noe and Sanchez, okay.
Right across the street from the Beck's Motor Lodge.
Right across the street from Sullivan's funeral home.
Sully's funeral home. But that's kind of like a grim thing to have across the street. It's like, you're having a great time with your friends and you walk out, you're a little drunk, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to die someday.
Well, and we'll just... Anytime I see the name Sullivan's, I think I just automatically shorten it to Sully.
Yeah.
And so it just seems so informal to have a funeral home like, hey, Sully, can you bury my grandmother?
It's like, hey, Sully, did you see that Red Sox game the other day?
Hey, sweet. Hey, my grandmother's rotting away in the basement. You want to take care of that?
By the way, I love you see those like Hopper commercials on television where it's there's like Boston Family and they're just like this miserable family like yelling at each other, and it's hilarious. It's
right.
like the Boston douchebag is not just for like domestic abuse anymore. Now it's like marketable thanks to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
You just sort of imagine the writers for the commercial sitting around and be like, who's the most annoying people in the world? Right, Boston.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
The rest will write itself.
Exactly, genius. So, what did this place used to be? We're at HiTops.
And I believe this used to be a place called Lime.
That's right. Yes, it was Lime, and this place has only been open for like 4 months, like we said. And Lime, how would you describe Lime?
Lime was very modern, like sort of modern furniture, like clean colors, like very like what you think of now, sort of when you think of like. Not ritzy, but like sort of like expensive hotel bar almost. Like,
that
kind of feel where it's like everything's like sort of like acrylic and like and
yeah, it was kind of like what Dino De Laurentiis thought the future would be like. It's some sort of like Barbarella thing.
Yeah, and as I recall, like I think like there were like sort of walls in there and stuff like that where they would show like Danger Diabolique or like Barbarella or something like that, and like so it's like a very dystopian sort of vision of the future or whatever.
Well, I'm kind of glad that's gone because I like this place better. That place it always like struck me as the place that you would go to after a rave, like because they were playing like house music and like they had a good like brunch. So it's like if you can't get into at the end up, you go down to Lime and sort of like drink it off.
Right. It actually looked a lot like. Actually, I remember Lime looking a lot like. I had one chance when I lived in New York to go to this place called Centrofly. It was like it was like the big like electronic club and everything like that, and like and we were able to finagle our way into like the sort of like separate bar off of the club or whatever.
Ooh, VIP
and,
section.
Totally VIP, but it's like all they're playing is like super relaxed
chill out music.
Deep chill out house music or whatever.
Right.
And it's just like all these people like recovering from a 4-day coke binge, like lying on these like acrylic couches or whatever. But like it reminded me a lot of that.
Well, there's a market for that.
Of course.
I remember one of the things that they used to do about Lime is there's this like sandwich shop right around the corner that is called Ike's, and everybody loves it. And they got evicted from their space because the neighbors complained about like how many people were like lining up to get their sandwiches.
Right.
And then while they were looking for a new location, whoever the chef, you make sandwiches, dude. He came over here and he was like doing the food for Lime, and then now they have a new location which is basically like across the street from the place they got kicked out of.
Right.
And now I like a good sandwich, but there are people like lined up to get Ike sandwiches like for like an hour.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And
right.
I'm just like, I'll give you a pass if you're a total foodie and you're at some like expensive restaurant, but like an hour to get a fucking sandwich.
Right.
But like, and somebody told I just like want to like I walk by there just like incredulous, like want to be like, what are you doing? Like go talk to your family or do something.
Right. Reevaluate your life.
But somebody told me, and it's usually every time I walk by there and the line is out the door, it's always like a lot of like young kids. And somebody told me that I think they have a location on the Stanford campus and maybe in Berkeley. So maybe it's like a college thing for a lot of these kids.
There's one in like downtown Oakland now as well. But like, I mean, it's like I've had their sandwiches a couple times I think, and like they're good. Like, but
it's
there's no way I'm waiting an hour for,
it's a good
for a goddamn sandwich.
Right. It's kind of like it's like Buy Right Creamery, like over by Dolores Park. Like on a nice warm day, like the line is around the block.
Yeah.
And you can like walk like half a block down to Buy Right itself and get like a pint of the same ice cream and take it home. But like people are like waiting an hour to get ice cream. Like I wouldn't wait in a line that long to see the Smiths reunite. Of course I would. When it comes to the Smiths, of course I'll do it. Like
if they reunited at Coachella, I would go to Coachella. And the idea of standing in Palm Springs in the summer for a day is utterly repellent to me. But I would do it for that. Sure.
I have a ticket for a Morrissey show at Davies Symphony Hall that was supposed to be which was supposed to be in November, and then he didn't cancel it. He postponed it because he had to go back to England because his mom was sick. Mama's boy. And now, just recently, it was supposed to be next week, the 24th. He canceled it. No, he didn't cancel. He postponed that show as well.
Right.
So it's just going to keep getting pushed back. I hope I live long enough to see this fucking show.
Oh, Morrissey.
Morrissey. Someone wrote to me and said, like, oh yeah, it's almost like he has a reputation of being an asshole. All right, so I want to talk about some of the drink specials that they have here at HiTops. By the way, I'm drinking a Mirapon, and it's a $4 beer. So, like,
not bad.
It's a pretty good, I don't know if it's happy hour or not, but, like, it's a pretty good, like, selection of beers on tap. So here are some of the cocktails. They're specialty cocktails. One is called the Baby Bull, which I believe that would be a reference to like the post Michael Jordan Bulls.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, remember like when they had like Ron Artest and a bunch of like young guys and they couldn't win a fucking game, and they were called them the Baby Bulls.
I thought there was a pitcher named Baby Bull. So maybe I'm confused. Like, could be. I don't know.
This is where I think this is the only time all of my like sports knowledge is going to come in handy in a gay bar. That's why I love this place.
Exactly.
They have a drink called Will the Thrill.
Right.
A reference to Will Clark.
Of course.
A hero for the San Francisco Giants back in the 90s.
I thought you were going to say like a hero in the gay community, but
I bet you know what? I bet
chiseled good looks. You know.
I bet he would be furious that they have which makes me love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
I bet he would be furious that a gay bar has a drink named after him. There's a drink called the Mully, which I'm assuming is Chris Mullin.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a renowned alcoholic when he was in the NBA, played for the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
They have a drink called the Big Unit, which I have no idea what they're referencing.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that like Randy Johnson never played for any San Francisco teams, did he?
Right. But
so that just must be an opportunistic, like, sort of like, well, we have to put that on the list.
Right. He's got. I mean, his nickname for his entire career was also a euphemism for his cock or a cock. So, like, you know, they're like, you know what? Even though he didn't play in the Bay Area, we gotta let that one slide.
So now, like, my question is, why don't they have a drink named after Kobe Bryant called the Black Mamba?
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, I don't know. There are a lot of Laker fans up here. I was going to say there's not a lot of Laker fans, but that doesn't seem like it matters. The Black Mamba would be a perfect drink.
It's like a lot of Mamba fans, though, when you're like...
Okay, they have a drink called Intimidator, which I have no idea.
Isn't that a Dale Earnhardt, isn't it?
Oh, you're right. And here's another one, a guy who would probably be furious that a gay bar had a name.
Why would you do such a thing? I'm just a guy with a big giant mustache.
And okay, so they have a drink called the Dominican Daddy. I'm sorry, Dominican Dandy, which I have no idea what that's a reference to. Maybe David Ortiz.
Could be.
I mean, like, and take your pick of any like Dominican baseball player.
Man Ram,
yeah. There's a drink called
a drink called the Man Ram.
Oh, that would be great.
You blew it.
I started calling Manny Ramirez Man Ram, and my friends from back home would get so mad at me. They would just be like, "Stop saying that."
Excellent. What else have we got on the menu?
We have the Joe Cool, which is a reference to Snoopy.
Maybe. I mean, I would think that there's got to be some.
That one gets an F from me. I can't let that one slide. And there's one called the Hitman, which I know this is like not a whole lot of people knew this, but I believe that was Don Mattingly's nickname.
Was it?
Hitman Mattingly?
Like, I was thinking of Frank Thomas was the Big Hurt, right?
The Big Hurt.
Like another good drink name for here.
Oh, you also like, Tommy the Hitman Hearns?
Yeah, that's what I was. That's the first thing that popped in my head. But like,
I don't know if there's a whole lot of Tommy Hearns fans like left in the world. Not even in Detroit, where he's from.
see, like, okay, now here's one that's like local because he's from here, and has a good like sort of like possible double entendre name, and that would be the Juice, OJ.
Right? Oh yeah.
There's the whole wife killing thing.
It is. It's hard to align yourself with somebody who's like serving time.
Right.
Wasn't there like an article like recently about him? Like his nickname in prison. It's like Juice Daddy.
Juiced out.
Or like, I mean, you can find
Squeezed dry.
It's got. I mean, like, how can you not have a Jose Canseco drink at a gay bar? Like,
Bash Brothers, like
the Bash
drinks.
Brothers. Yeah.
Two drinks that are mostly steroids.
Also, we should say that this bar has a full liquor license, so you can get like shots here. They actually have like a station where you can do shots that is shaped like a basketball free throw line.
Of course, like since those are the easiest ones to knock down because you don't have somebody with a hand in your face.
And one of the great things, one of the things I love about gay bars is they have plenty of water for you to hydrate yourself, but also right next to the water.
Is that unique to gay bars, though?
No. Well, I don't know, but like, no, I'm getting there. Okay, don't
right.
step on. And right next to the water cooler is a big container of condoms. So yeah, like being responsible, and it's like just like throw condoms at you like as soon as you walk in.
And if your favorite team wins, you can always blow one up as a balloon and go nuts.
Well, this place had a little bit of notoriety recently because when the Niners won the NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl, someone took a photo of the bar here, and it got into Sports Illustrated. And the photo was like guys in the foreground like cheering, and there's two guys like in the middle ground, like right behind them, like making out.
Oh, okay.
And there was like the fact that it made it into Sports Illustrated is amazing, but it's a great photo.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time for our new segment that we started last week. New segment,
and
that is it dog friendly?
Dog or no dog?
Dog or no dog? Dog is my co-drinker.
This is gonna be the shortest segment ever.
Well, I mean, most of our segments involve like a yes or no question, so we can stretch it out to exceedingly annoying levels.
We call it Schrodinger's dog.
Just coming up with the title. We're killing valuable minutes here.
So as we mentioned earlier, this place has a kitchen in the back.
It does have a kitchen in the back, which usually means
no dogs.
Right. And I would say that's probably the rule. Although when we came in, there was a guy that walked by with a little tiny dog, and he was able to at least step in the door and like let people come up and say hello to his dog while he was saying hello to his friends.
Yeah, I mean, like, so maybe you can bring your dog a few feet into the bar, but I'm sure like if you try to bring the dog, like, situate the dog in the bar, they'll kick you out.
Yeah, or just like leashless, like, run and get the burgers, boy. Probably not.
Although, what if you had a dog that is like a purse dog?
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of like, Paris Hilton girls like to have these like little lap dogs that they keep in their pocket.
As like Maria Bamford, I think, said she wants to eventually grow old and get a burrito-sized dog.
But I mean, like, I guess maybe you can get away with that a little bit if it's like really small. Like,
well, I noticed that a lot in like Cow Hollow and the marina and stuff like that is outdoor cafes, and these girls have like their rat little chihuahua in like a purse or whatever sitting at the restaurant. So I mean, like, that it seems like that would be at odds with the whole restaurant like allowing dogs, but if it's literally just a head and a purse, like, I guess, like,
Andrew, you have like a couple of small dogs. Like, would you ever think like I'll just take this to the diner or something?
The funny thing is like the smaller of our dogs, he just is an asshole when it comes to other dogs. So like, and he always sort of picks fights with dogs that are bigger than him. So we can't even take him to like a small dog park because we're afraid that he'll like be a little jerk.
Andrew, I know you know this already, but your dog's an asshole.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, if you take him to the park and he's starting shit with other dogs, you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like, what a ass. Like, I mean, there was we had him on a walk one time. There was this big area where this guy was training like big German shepherds, like for like police work or something. And like there were like 4 or 5 of them, and he's like shouting at him and like he's getting him to attack perps or whatever. And like our dog goes up to the little fence like there, and then starts picking a fight with like these 4 or 5 like German shepherds. They could snap him in half in a second, and like he's just an idiot.
Don't you feel like the only reason little dogs do that, and little dogs have a reputation as being like assholes, like starting shit at the dog parks with the bigger dogs. The only reason little dogs do that is because we have bred that out of them. Because like the first rule in nature is you don't fuck with anything that's bigger than you.
Right.
Like. But like not domesticated dogs, like little dogs will start shit like with the biggest dog, and when the big dog starts getting barked at, he's just like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Like, I was in New Zealand once, and we came across a ostrich farm.
Right.
And so we like stopped the car and got out, and as soon as the ostriches saw us like from across the field, they like came right over. And I think like it was because in their mind, in their like animal mind, they're like, well, I'm bigger than these assholes, so if like shit goes down, it's gonna be on them. Like and that's the kind of the rule of nature, or it's like you don't fuck with anything that's bigger than you, and if you're bigger than anybody else, you can go and like check things out.
Right. Unbelievable.
Animal Kingdom, they've got it down.
So that was the animal portion of the podcast.
Exactly.
See, we took a simple concept like our dogs allowed, and we're able to spin gold out of it. I tell you.
I wonder if I love this place because it is a sports bar and I'm a sports fan. But I feel like if you rolled up on some of the guys here and you were like, "Hey, how about that NBA trade deadline?" They'd be like, "You need to get a haircut."
Like, oh. Stop talking to me.
That's kind of like, my heart, any of the guys who come here, who actually come here for the sports, I really like that because, like, I'm a sports fan, you're a sports fan,
right.
And I'll also, like, run in sort of, like, some hipster circles, and in some of those circles, it's like, liking sports, you might as well be a Republican.
Right. You could do it, but it better be ironic.
Yeah, exactly. Are you watching that ironically?
Well, like one of the things that gave me pause and has continued to give me pause, and the listeners can probably like hear it in the background, is that you've got this obviously they can't see it unless they come, but on all basic appearances, this is a regular sports bar, and yet like the music is like total like sort of like housey like pop.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird combination, but I love it because it's so much better than like Van Halen or something like that.
Yeah. I love this bar so much that I kind of wish that they would franchise out and like take it on the road. Like, yeah, take it to like my hometown in Massachusetts, or take it to like the middle of America, and just let people figure it out for themselves. Because like guys will be there and go down there and be like, yeah, this is a new sports bar. It's great. Everybody's super friendly. Like, there's always people talking to me in the men's room, and it's like I just go down there to watch the Red Sox game, and it's just like, man, it's like it's the happiest place on earth.
HiTops.
HiTops in the cast room. I want to like come here during the football to see what kind of crowd they get for that.
Yeah. Or even.
That's the thing. Like, we're here now, and I'd like to see what it's like when there's an actual game of consequence on.
Right.
There's like a bunch of games that I think they're on tape delay from ESPN, like NBC Sports Network.
Right.
But I wonder, like, I'd like to come here, like, when, like, opening day of, like, the Giants or something like that. And
March Madness or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet it'd be fun.
It's a date.
That's right. That's a verbal agreement, Andrew. So I'm going to get another beer. How about that?
Hey.
So we're going to take a break.
Fantastic.
And this is SF Barkast coming to you from HiTops in the Castro.
In the Castro.
All right, this is SF Barkast.
Hey.
We are back at
The HiTops.
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 HiTops. In the
I think I was getting mixed up with the. Isn't there a bar called like the Tip Top or something like that, or like the or the High Low, or I don't know.
Don't sneak up on me with questions
Jesus
like
Christ,
that.
I pulled the air brakes on that one. I'm surprised anybody could hear anything over the sound of tires screeching.
So here we are, Andrew. It is February, mid-February, or third week of February, and guess what's right around the corner?
Sunshine, good times.
Oscar night.
Ah,
Yes. So this is going to be officially our Oscar preview.
having seen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably 3 movies last year, 2 of which were not nominated for nothing.
And 2 of them were Weekend at Bernie's when they brought it back to the revival house.
2 of them were porno.
Sat through the whole thing. So, okay, so let's just go down the Best Picture list. And I'll tell you, I've seen a few of them, but I don't know.
Okay. Amour.
Okay.
Amour.
I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to see it. You know why?
Why is that?
It's about old people fucking. I think that's what it's about.
Did Jim Polachinski make this movie? That's a joke that no one will get.
Nobody's going to get that joke, but I believe it's a movie about like getting older and still having the sexual desire.
All right, pass.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how. I would nominate that for worst picture, not to be ageist. And I'm getting old. I'm getting old myself. It seems like every single day I get a little bit older. But I don't want to see Amour. Okay, so I'm going to pass on that one.
All right, enough about Amour.
Argo, seen it. It's good. Yep. Affleck's actually really good. I think Alan Arkin is a lock for Best Supporting Actor.
Okay.
Which will be great to see Alan Arkin get up there.
So he didn't win for Little Miss Sunshine, did he? Or did he?
I think he's won. He's won one Oscar already, but I don't know what it was for.
Okay.
So the great thing about Argo is that it's this historical drama. Like, I remember I was like 9 years old when the Iranian hostage crisis happened, and I know exactly what happened. But it's such a well done movie that at the end I was like totally riveted. So I really like Argo, and I think it may be the front runner because I think didn't it win the Golden Globe?
Yeah, it did, but it's not always a precursor.
I love the Golden Globes because now they televise them, and it's the one where everybody drinks at.
Yeah, everybody's fucking fun.
Everybody's like getting up there. It's like being an SF Barkast, where like people are slurring into like the microphone.
It's a much prettier version of the SF Barkast.
What does Jimmy Dore say? Like, celebrities, they're just like you, except drunk and fucking beautiful. Or I think that's.
Oh, it's Rip Torn, right? Rip Torn's
Rip Torn, but who does
Drunk Tank?
Who does that? It's Mike McRae.
Mike McRae,
who's a very funny Austin comic.
All right.
Okay, what's next?
At this rate, we're never getting through this list. By the way, I can't. The whole nominating 10 movies thing has got to stop because it's just ridiculous.
I know. I'm like from the old school where you get 5 movies and that's it. Now, like they have to throw in a few.
Right.
Okay, whatever. What's next?
Okay, next is Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Okay, Beasts of the Southern Wild. I haven't seen this movie, and I have no idea what it's about. I think somebody told me it's about New Orleans, but I just assumed like maybe it was about like South Africa or something like that.
Like basically, yeah. Like I saw an interview with like the director or something like that, and it seems like a very like sort of DIY movie, and like I guess like sort of swept through Sundance and all that bullshit.
Well, one of the good things about them nominating 10 movies is that they can sort of like give a nod to like the critical movies, like the critics' choice. And I have a feeling that Beasts of the Southern Wild is like the critics' choice this year because like I don't know anybody who's seen it. I hadn't heard about it until the Oscar nominations. And it's kind of like Winter's Bone a few years ago with Jennifer Lawrence.
Right.
That was a movie that like no one had seen, and then when it got nominated, people started watching it, and it was good.
Right. All right. Next now we get into the more recognizable ones, I would say. And
all right, here we go.
First is Django Unchained.
Okay, Django Unchained. I was going to go see this movie, but I was in such a bad mood that day that I just knew I was going to hate it. I have a love-hate relationship with Quentin Tarantino, and it's just because like when his first two movies, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, like he was like my hero. He meant like everything to me. And then they had Jackie Brown, which was also character-based, and then after that, he's just been nothing but a complete disappointment to me.
True.
Like,
so when you say love-hate, it's like I used to love him, now I hate him.
yeah, it's like, well, now it's like hate.
Right.
Okay, so, and I've heard everybody who's seen the movie hasn't said this is the right thing to me. People just say, "Oh, it's great," and nobody's like explaining it as like a return to Tarantino's great movies. It's a brash, like loud, vulgar Tarantino film that's not based on characters. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I will see it this week. But yeah, I just like I don't want to go into a movie where I'm just like already fuming.
So I think we've talked for about 5 minutes so far on 4 movies that neither of us have seen. so we're doing
well,
great.
Like I really want Tarantino to do well, but like it's like Kill Bill and like some of his other movies. They're just like that grindhouse stuff. It's like it's all like cartoony.
Well, I'm not even sure if I'm rooting for him anymore. It's like
I know.
like his
It's
whole
sad.
like pussy wagon personality and everything like that is like it was easy to sort of like be like, well, he's eccentric, but boy is he talented. And now it's just like, well, he's eccentric, but
he's not.
He's just kind of a creep who makes bad movies.
It seems like now he's like trying to get by on the fact that he's like, hey, you know what? I know a lot about blaxploitation films and kung fu movies, and you're just kind of like, well, that's not good enough, man. You gotta like write the characters.
All right.
Like no, wait. I'm not done with fucking Tarantino. Okay.
We'll split this up into 2 parts. Just for Best Picture.
Maybe I am. I'm gonna stop like trashing Tarantino, but I just want to say it's kind of like I said before about people who are really into Guns N' Roses, and like ever since like Appetite for Destruction or like ever since like Axl Rose went into hiding. People who are really into Guns N' Roses will tell you Axl Rose has been nothing but a fucking disappointment.
Right.
And I used to love that band, and I feel the same way about Tarantino. Like the first 3 movies, I was just like, this guy is awesome. And then it's just been nothing but this cartoony violence. Like you watch like Kill Bill, it's like, yeah, I guess it's a good movie, but like people are getting their limbs severed and with like samurai swords, and it's just like there's no gravity to it. Like when that guy in Reservoir Dogs gets his ear cut off, like everybody was like totally couldn't believe it. It was just like had so much gravity to it, and it was real. Now it's like cartoony violence.
Yeah.
So whatever. Okay, take that, Tarantino.
I think basically it started with Kill Bill. I think. I mean, like that was that just he sort of never stopped doing that style of like bullshit.
All his movies lack right now are like personality and story.
That's it.
And that's it. And I think if he works on those 2 things, he'll be good again.
Excellent. Next is Les Miserables.
Okay, so I haven't seen that one either.
Of course, and I haven't either.
But I do like one of my celebrity crushes is Anne Hathaway, who I hear is like really good in that.
I hear she's good in that, but I feel like also that she's another person that's done nothing but harm to her reputation in the last few months because like
why would she do?
Because every award show she's on, like she's just way too actory, just like oh my goodness, golly gracious, like it's so great to like like she's just way over the top, like seems like she'd be a really annoying person to hang out with.
Like I think Anne Hathaway is so beautiful, but I also have the suspicion that and she's like one of these actresses that has exaggerated features, which works really well on the screen. But like if she were to walk in here right now she's got these huge eyes, this huge mouth, you'd be like, what the fuck? Who is that clown that just walked in here? But it works great on the screen.
Yeah.
And it also works great because she's beautiful. So there you go.
She's definitely I think she's probably in a top 5 list of people that I bet the Japanese people who are into Japanese animation love her because it's just all she's just eyes, dark hair, high voice.
Although I will say I really like Rachel Getting Married, and that actually showed that she's actually a good actress.
Yeah, no, you know what?
And before that, she was doing Disney movies.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who is this? And now, after seeing Rachel Getting Married, I was just like, holy shit, she's talented.
All right, next up is Ang Lee's Life of Pi. Again,
Didn't see it.
and I didn't either. And actually, you know what? I kind of wanted to because I do like Ang Lee.
How many are we down? Because I think I've seen Argo. That was the first one, and I just like bitched about all the rest of them.
Yeah, this is like 6 for 6 anyway for me for not having seen it.
Okay, well, you know what? I have something to say about all these movies. Ang Lee, I love Ang Lee.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies is Brokeback Mountain.
Right.
And when I first...
Actually, one of my favorites is Ice Storm. So, like,
Ice Storm is great.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ang Lee is like one of those great directors where, like, he is, I believe he's Taiwanese.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I think he like spent a lot of time in like upstate New York or like Westchester or something like that. But
Okay.
like, you know.
But still, like, you know, he's a director who's trying to show that he's such a good director. He's got amazing range.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can do a movie about like New York couples in like the late 70s in the Ice Storm. I'm going to do the gay cowboy movie. I'm going to do the Hulk movie, which was not that good. And now I'm going to do this like total CGI film. And he also did like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Right.
which is great.
You like a girl cowboy movie too, like
Yeah, with Jewel.
yeah.
Jewel and Jeffrey Wright. I forget
right.
the name of it.
Yeah. I think it was called Shitty Ang Lee Cowboy Movie.
That's called like a movie nobody wants to see. So I really like Ang Lee. Something about the CGI. I almost feel like there's been like a backlash against CGI.
Yeah.
Like the thing. So I haven't gone to see Life of Pi, but like.
Well, as much as you would think that, like, you know, like with when Scorsese did that movie that was nominated last year, like the 3D one, like Hugo.
Right.
Like, so Scorsese did that, and like Ang Lee's doing this, and you would think like these great directors embracing like all this like high-end technology would turn out good, but to me it usually doesn't, because it's like they know their craft really well, and you're putting all these like new shitty tools in their hand, like and it's, you know, it's like taking like someone who's a really good like, you know, painting artist and like giving them a computer and saying like, okay, we assume you can be really great at this too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, like you have to be like a half engineer, half artist to like, you know, to do shit like that. So
Yeah, put Monet in front of Photoshop and see what you get.
nothing. He sucks at it. That's what.
All right, so what else we got?
All right, I believe next is the one that I've seen, and that's Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you know, it's a great
Don't tell me how it ends.
Well, like, all right, this won't give anything away, but Godzilla shows up at some point.
What? Danny Glover kills the Predator?
Like, well, I mean, the fact that this got nominated and the Vampire Hunters Lincoln didn't is a fucking crime.
I know, like, you're making a joke, but I hate all that vampire stuff where it's, or like zombie hunter or whatever. Like, you know, there's some like jackass like Hollywood producer down there. It's like, what if we take a historical figure and put in vampires? It's like, yeah, that would be great, right? Yeah, you're fired.
Like Martin Van Frankenstein.
So okay, Lincoln, I haven't seen it. I heard it's really long.
Yeah,
Which I think is that's a horrible criticism.
but you know what? It didn't feel long. It was really good from beginning to end. It was much better at creating a mood than I thought it would be. I mean, because like most sort of like historical dramas like that, like you're sort of aware that like, you know, like, okay, like this is a set, like, in, you know, and you know, this they just sort of you know, put it together and like it's supposed to look like it's old, but it doesn't, you know, like this did a really good job of like everything was dark, everything. I mean, it was just like, you know, like it gave you a feeling of what it would be like to live during that time, which would be pretty shitty. For the most part. I mean, like, you don't have, like, hot and cold running anything. Most of the people have no teeth, you know.
How did Spielberg do? He didn't Spielberg it up, did he?
Great. Actually, that's the one thing that I thought was really good about it, was that it didn't feel like some, you know, big budget Spielberg movie or something like that. It just felt like you were hanging around, like, in this time, and like, and it had that sort of like dirty, like, you know, no one has toilet paper kind of like vibe about it. You know, which is like, you know, not necessarily what the story's about, but it's a great little sort of touch.
It's a good like subplot.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks you into it.
And who better to play Abraham Lincoln than an Irish actor, Daniel Day-Lewis? And how is he? Because I heard
He's amazing.
he's amazing. Yeah. I mean, like.
And he actually does a really interesting choice as far as the voice and stuff like that. It's clearly not his voice. He's doing. I mean, like, you know, not that I'm not aware that there's any like recordings of Lincoln and like that, so nobody really. I mean, you would have to like sort of go by research on what he sounds like, or like have the son of the son of the son like tell you like, oh, he's a little bit nasally or something like that. Like,
he didn't do it with an Irish accent, did he?
No, he did not.
Where's Mike Guinness?
He did it with a Jamaican accent, which I thought was weird.
Hey, you know what? He's an artist. Don't. I'm not a big fan of both Tommy Lee Jones and Sally Field, who are both in it. But whatever, I'll see it, I guess.
They both do their. They're both not in it quite enough to ruin it in any way. So like, even if they overact a little bit.
Who plays John Wilkes Booth? Do you know?
Oh, actually, I don't believe we ever see even. It is terrible. It would give away a little bit if I told you.
Okay, yeah.
Who either does or does not play him.
Okay.
All right. Next is a movie I believe you've seen, and that's Silver Linings Playbook.
Yes, I've seen this movie. It's great, and actually, this would probably be my my favorite. Like, I'll be pulling for this movie to win.
Right.
Although I'm going to pick a different movie. So, Silver Lining Playbook is a great David O. Russell film, and it's totally got holes in it. Like, you know, you could sit there and watch it and go like, well, you know what, that's a little convenient. And like, as far as the narrative is concerned, like, you know, oh, that maybe wouldn't happen. But because it's like a romance, it's a kind of a dark romance. Like, you would just make yourself look like an asshole if you were like, you know, picking apart like the plot holes in it. You know what I mean? It's like if you watched 16 Candles and you were complaining about like how that jock would never go for her. You're the one. Then you like kind of look around, and be like, oh yeah, I'm the one who looks like an asshole that way.
Right.
So there is a couple of convenient plot twists in Silver Lining Playbook, but it's so well done.
Right.
David O. Russell is a great director. He did like Three Kings. He did I Heart Huckabees.
Yeah.
He did.
People like to shit on I Heart Huckabees, by the way, which I'm surprised by because I really enjoyed that.
Those people can go fuck themselves because like that movie's great.
Right.
And he did The Boxer as well. And of course, Bradley Cooper's great in it. And Jennifer Lawrence is great. And I believe, I can't remember the last time this happened, but that movie was nominated for Best Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Robert De Niro, and Supporting Actress. I forget the Australian woman's name who's played the mom, but she was nominated last time for Animal Kingdom as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a really good movie. So like, I'll be pulling for that one.
Cool. Finally is Zero Dark 30.
Okay, so here's the one that I'm going to pick for, like, I feel like that one will probably win. Although, according to the Academy, the movie fucking directed itself because they didn't nominate what's her name? Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
Who is the wonderful director of Near Dark
and Point Break.
Somebody told me once, if you ever get the chance to meet somebody famous, you always think of like the most obscure thing they did, and you just go, "Hey, you're Catherine Bigelow. You did Near Dark, right?"
See, like, I have to think that's like the worst part of being any sort of celebrity is that you have the people that like will always ask you the exact same question or be like, or get it wrong or like that, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you have like assholes like you and me that will like have some like brilliant plan to humiliate them in mind.
Like, right, exactly. Like who's that tall director who did like the Batman movies?
Oh, Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was the writer of this 80s movie starring Mr. T called DC Cab. So I've just been waiting all my life to like meet Joel Schumacher and go over and like he did like Flatliners, he did like Batman movies, and like I just go and be like, "Hey, you wrote DC Cab, didn't you?"
Just yell it out to everybody. Hey, look, everybody! It's the writer of DC Cab.
Tell me what Mr. T's really like.
Go up to like Oliver Stone or like that and be like, "What was it like making The Hand?"
Or Michael Mann, like, didn't he do like Band of the Hand?
Oh Jesus, like, maybe he did. Like,
yeah.
Like, I know. They'll like walk up to him in a bar and be like, "I know who you are. I know." And they're like, "Oh yeah. You directed Band of the Hand." Like, fuck you. Get a drink thrown in your face by Michael Mann.
The other, so that's all the movies. Which
That's
one are you
all.
going to take? I'm going to take Zero Dark. Oh wait, we didn't get to Zero Dark 30. So
True.
here we go. Here's my speech about this.
Again, I haven't seen it. But
Okay.
I've only seen one movie, and that's probably. I think I'll pick that
It's
one.
about the Osama bin Laden raid, and I won't tell you how it ends.
Yeah, please.
Same joke for
Who plays
different
John
movies.
Wilkes Booth?
Okay, so this is my problem. I think the movie is flawless. I think it's great. My only problem is like the congressional like reaction to it. Like, did you read about this where like Dianne Feinstein and like
Everybody's losing their shit about it, right?
yeah, John McCain.
Right.
They're basically saying that like the movie is irresponsible because they portray that we used enhanced interrogation, which means torture, to get the information to get Osama bin Laden.
Which is exactly what they were bragging about like 4 years ago.
Well, their whole take is that like the information we got to get Osama bin Laden didn't come out of torture, and so like their whole thing is like, oh, that's totally wrong. But the thing they're not saying we didn't torture.
Right.
It's just like almost like they're trying to get away on a technicality. Where it's like in that instance, we didn't like pull people's fingernails out. But then if you were to say to all those jackasses, yeah, but there are all these dark sites in like Eastern Poland and Turkey where you're torturing, waterboarding people, they'd be like, oh yeah, we do that, but just not in that instance.
Right. And that's like yielding tons of information that we need, like their phone numbers and stuff.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, really? Like that's the fight you're gonna have. I mean, you look so flimsy when you're taking on like a Hollywood director.
Right.
And just like, and basically all and I think she knew that they didn't like torture people to get that, but she's like making a statement about torture. She's an artist, like back off.
So I'm trying to figure out if so someone is listening to this right before the Academy Awards. I'm trying to figure out if they're better or worse off now for having listened to that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I hope that movie wins. That one, I'm going to take either that one or my heart says Silver Lining Playbooks, but or Silver Lining Playbook, but my brain says it's going to be Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
So who do you?
Argo, not the Golden Globe winner Argo.
Nah.
No, they're not ready
Fuck
to.
that Boston douchebag.
Yeah, you know, like it's probably like a source of shame for them actually that like they gave Ben Affleck one Oscar already, like for writing Good Will Hunting. So they're like, we can't give him another one. We'll just look like idiots.
So who are you gonna take?
I'll take Lincoln. I mean, it's the only one I've seen. I enjoyed it, so like, yeah, I think I'd feel foolish for taking anything else. I'll take, screw it. I'll take a Moore.
Oh, god damn you! Well, I'll buy
Those people
you.
are gonna get up on stage and like do it in front of everybody.
I'll buy you a drink if that happens. The only other film I've seen that has some sort of Oscar implications is I saw Flight the other night, and Denzel Washington is he's nominated for that for Best Actor, but the movie's like really good. The first half of like the movie Flight, I was honestly like, this movie is great. It's got a little bit of problem, like Zemeckis-y problem,
Right.
directed by Robert Zemeckis, but and then it kind of like falls into certain like Zemeckis like cliches. But the first half of the movie, I was like, I have no idea where this character arc is going. I was like, what's the point here? The only problem is that like it's got a little too many like baby boomer it's got a baby boomer soundtrack.
Okay.
So I mean, some of the songs are great, but a lot of them are just like Rolling Stones, Give Me Shelter. It's
Right.
where you can see in any other like movie that's directed by a baby boomer.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out. All right, so we're done with our Oscar.
We're done with the Oscars, guys.
We're done with the Oscars. Well, we'll come next week. We'll like grade what we have to say.
But yeah, and then,
Our predictions.
and then we'll do like a half an hour on the People's Choice Awards.
All right, this is SFBarkast, and we're gonna get a beer at HiTops.
HiTops.
All right, and we're back. This is SFBarkast.
Hey.
I'm Jeff Cleary,
I'm Andrew Louder.
and we are at
The High Top.
HiTops.
HiTops. God damn it! I keep wanting to call it the High Top.
The tip top.
The Tip Top. There we go. In the Castro.
And and what do you think about this bar? Because I really like it.
I love it.
I mean, I can't stop like talking about how great it was. Like when we just ordered food, and one of the things that they give you a number, and on the number they have some baseball cards laminated into it. And one of the baseball cards was Rich Gedman, who I was like really happy to see because he was on the Red Sox back in the day.
Some wipes in
Awesome,
there.
thanks,
That's
man.
ranch.
Cool, fantastic.
Thank you.
So Rich Gedman was on the Red Sox for the '86 World Series, but also Rich Gedman, I considered the guy who lost the World Series for the Red Sox because they called it like a wild pitch, but it was a pass ball. He just like threw his fucking mitt at the ball, and then Mookie Wilson comes around, or was it like Ray Knight comes around, scores in Game 6, and like whatever. Like I'm having such a good time here. I don't want to like bring that up, but I did.
No, it really is a great place though.
Also, when I went to order, the guy who runs the kitchen, he was saying that the menu is designed by somebody who was on Top Chef.
Yeah, he's like Jamie, and I think I remember who that is actually. And I think
And she doesn't work here, but she came up with the menu.
no, yeah, it's a cool little like food menu. They got like soft pretzels and wings and burgers, and I'm having the crock of cheese. I think
I'm having the buffalo wings, which is great, like sports bar,
of course, a staple.
Sports bar staple.
But, okay, so we'll quickly go through like bullshit pint.
Okay, you know what?
It's not a bullshit pint.
It's not a bullshit pint. We don't even have to pour it. It's so good. And what else we got?
Well, we got our recurring segment called
Gone,
But Not Forgotten.
but not forgotten. So, it's the Castro. So, and I've lived down in the Mission for a while. And my Gone But Not Forgotten is a bar that I actually have never been in. But like I remember like every time I walked by it, I would like smirk and chuckle to myself. It was a gay bar called the Jackhammer. And I don't know why I never went in there, but like it's just like such a great name for a bar.
Fantastic.
So what's your Gone But Not Forgotten?
I'm going to say Boston Market. They put in a Boston Market at the corner of a Church and Market.
Church and Market.
And you know what? God bless them. Worked for a little while, but
Boston Market just seemed like they had their shit together. Like it wasn't a front for like laundering money or anything like that.
Like
but they all just went away really fast. I also like the idea of like a Boston-style restaurant where they're like, yeah, here's your fucking food.
Miller Lite or High Life for that.
Exactly. Oh, you want an IPA? Oh, we got a fancy guy over here.
But you go down the street with your IPAs.
So, what's our final analysis?
A++.
with this? A++. I love HiTops. So if you get down to the Castro, you should definitely come by and check it out.
Definitely.
The first gay sports bar I've ever been in, and hopefully not the last.
I would say the premier gay sports bar in the entire San Francisco area.
I'm telling you guys, if the owners are listening to this, take it on the road, man. You should be a wonderful franchise.
So you can move into all the closing down Planet Hollywoods around the country and turn them into this.
Yeah, there's plenty of closed up Boston markets you can take over.
Perfect idea.
All right, so this is SFBarkast, and we're signing off.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.